Commentary Ghosts from the New York Trilogy by Paul Auster. Information of the book. Paul Auster's third, or second, novel and the second volume of the New York Trilogy, and the most symbolic and representative work of the trilogy. Form, style and structure. A novelette uses the form and style of a detective story or mystery story, but it's a philosophical and psychological story that describes the lack of human existence, the question for self, the emptiness of contemporary routine life, and the impossibility of writing a novel or a story. Also, this is a novelette to deconstruct the form of story or narrative. This novelette has no chapter and no blank line. I think it may imply this story is one imaginary allegory or a myth, in spite of more than 1 year passed in this story. Characters. Blue, a private detective in New York. Blue was fond of deceptive stories and movies, and was not the Sherlock Holmes type. He wanted to dramatic and adventurous cases, but was imposed on a dull case, to watch Black all the time. Black, a person to investigate by Blue, lives in an apartment in Brooklyn, and worked, wrote something, read books and ate beside the window most of the day. His hobby is to know the life of writers. He said he was a private detective, followed and watched a mysterious man who spent an changing monotonous life over a year. In fact, the man is blue, his true shape is white, and he was like the doppelganger, the alter ego or the looking glass self of Blue. Blue felt friendship, harmony and sympathy for Black, also felt anxiety, fretfulness and hostility. The dilemma is an important plot of this novel. White, a client of Blue, requested him to follow and investigate Black. When he visited the office of Blue, he disguised himself with a black beard, overly bushy eyebrows and white powder. He appeared with a strange Halloween mask at the Brooklyn post office and took a report by Blue. He noticed Blue and ran away. Brown, the former boss of Blue, told detective methods and skills to Blue. He had retired and lived in Florida, spent most of his time fishing. Gray, he had been missing for several years, suffered the loss of memory. Blue found him at a bar near the house of Gray's wife. Sir Green married with his wife twice. Future Mrs. Blue, Blue's girlfriend, but Blue had not kept in touch with her, because he was busy with Black's case. She was disgusted with Blue. Blue saw her date with another man. Other characters are listed below. Places. Apartment rent by White. Blue's room, a small studio apartment on the 3rd floor, directly across the street from Black's, was in Orange Street, Brooklyn. Strangely, it was fully equipped with furniture, kitchen supplies and a complete set of clothes fits for Blue. Orange Street, a street exists in Brooklyn, New York. There were Blue and Black rooms. Walt Whitman worked on the street. Henry David Thoreau visited there to hear Henry Ward Beecher's sermon at Plymouth Church, and Abraham Lincoln and Charles Dickens walked through the street and visited the church. It remains traces of persons who passed away, ghosts, in the street. Movie theater. The summer arrived, then Blue occasionally went to a movie theater. He is fond of the darkness of movie theater. The pictures on the screen are like the thoughts inside his head. Movie theater is the place to watch and devote to a story in the blackness. Other places are listed below. Key elements. To speculate. The word root of speculate is the Latin spectatus, which means looking on and watching, also is the English spectrum, which means mirror. Blue was watching black, simultaneously he felt he was watching a mirror and himself. Weekly reports. A text by data or fragments of a person, has no story and meanings. Art of disguise. It implies anyone can become another person by a novel or a story, but today's people aren't really who they are. Walden by Henry David Thoreau. Irony and cynicism to Blue, Black. In this novel, Blue and Black live alone in Brooklyn like Thoreau, however without deep emotion to the nature and positive philosophical reflection caused by loneliness. Jackie Robinson, the first African-American major leaguer. Jackie Robinson is a symbol of a livid and energetic person who lived a real life, was active in the real world and bravely struggled for absurdity and hardship. Ghosts. The word ghost, in this novel means traces or spirits of dead persons, a metaphor of men of emptiness such as writers, detectives and the state of today's people spent a vacant life. Writers and detectives think out, make up or trace others' stories or plots, they don't live a story of themselves. Other key elements are listed below. Synopsis. A private detective, Blue, took a riddle case by White. The request is to watch a mysterious man, Black. But Black did not do anything. He just sat beside the window, write something. Read Walden by Henry David Thoreau and took a brief stroll, to watch and to think about Black. Blue felt complex feelings mixed up: friendship, calmness, worry and hostility, and a feeling to watch like a doppelganger. Blue searched Black by some measures, but the case didn't make progress. About 1 year passed by, Black's life didn't vary. A summer day, Blue followed Black. Black took a seat at a lounge of a hotel, and Blue shared the table with Black. Then Black said, "I'm a private detective." Remarks. The apartment was strangely fully equipped, make me think this novel is like a myth or a fairy tale. Detective and police are professions make up the stories of an opponent or a suspect equal to a novelist. This novel is a detective story without an incident and a mystery without a murder, and no significant incident occurred. Also, it's a novel to find the incident and the enigma themselves. To watch Black around the clock is impossible, so White's request is impossible from the start. Blue may be the subjectivity of the author, Black may be the objectivity of him, or Black is Paul Auster himself as a writer, and Blue is Paul Auster reflect himself as an ordinary person. This novel is also a story of many excellent, vivid and skillful citations and cited episodes. Citations are Blue's aspiration in his head and his wish to escape from dull Black's case and an exciting life. Also, the story is made up of parts and fragments. It's the thought for the literature of Paul Auster. By Auster's thought, a story is only built by others' fragments and either for better or worse. And writer or novelist doesn't live his own real life. Pages from 170 to 173 is a confession of Auster's thought about literature and writing, and the impossibility and the doubt of writing a novel in the contemporary society. He may think characters are named by color. It has an effect. The world of this novel appears monotonous, colorless and blurred to a reader. Colors are signifiers or superficial meanings of things and persons, implies today's people and things have no soul and content. The colors strengthen the world of this novel become monotonous. The expression in black and white means by the form of a printed text. Blue is a middle content or an actor of this story. is operated by black and white. A pile of paper in Black's room is Blue's weekly reports, so the story of this novel is operated by Black. Blue was controlled by Black, also readers are controlled by him, and the story can't be said as a proper story, it's vain and nothing had happened. In the end, Blue read Black's manuscript and he knew it is his story, biography or this novel ghosts itself of which readers read. This novel is the novel of a novel, and it implies the anxiety and the impossibility of writing.